The great debate continues. Cash or credit? You've heard all the arguments, right? Let me give you a brief. In this corner, we have cash. All the studies show that more people feel less comfortable about spending physical cash, and it's easier to budget with too. Cash is king. And in this corner, we have credit cards. Have you heard of rewards points? Also, it's safer and more convenient than cash. Look, there are legitimate arguments on why you should use each. With cash, it's harder to overspend. It's very physical and visual. Studies show you spend less when you use cash. And my boy, Dave Ramsey, swears by it. With credit cards, you build credit.
Wow.
You get rewards points, it's easier to track, and it's safer than cash. You won't lose it, and if you do lose it, you can get a replacement, and if someone uses it fraudulently, you can cancel it. So should you use cash or credit? The answer is to know thyself. Why? Well, I mean, it sounds cooler than know yourself. Know thyself. A little regal, you know. Oh, you meant you want to know why you need to know yourself. Studies show many things. A lot of the times it's a percentage, like, you know, you're 80% more likely to spend extra money if you use credit than if you use cash. But guess what? That's just some people, or a percentage of people. It's not a one-size-fits-all. Some people spend more using cash, and some people spend more using credit. I personally spend less when I use a credit card, not cash. For some reason, when I get cash, it's like having a tiny bird land in my hands. I have to let it back into the wild. Be free, little bird, be free. For me, that's cash. It comes in my pocket, and then if I'm out doing something and I'm using cash, it just flies. I don't know why, but it does. It doesn't even feel like real money to me. When I use a credit card, I see that expense on the screen and it taunts me. It reminds me that I spent money and it gives me kidney pain. But when I use cash, no trace, all but forgotten. But not everyone is like this. More people spend more money when they use a credit card, and that's just a fact. And so the trick is to know what works for you personally. Know thyself. Here's the real trick. Whichever method makes you feel bad, that's the one you should actually use. You'll likely spend less. So for me, I see it on the screen. I feel bad that, oh man, this is a reminder I shouldn't have spent money. Or for someone who feels like giving their cold hard cash away feels lousy, use the method that makes you feel worse. Know yourself and choose that one. If you think you can outsmart yourself by saying, I know I spend more using credit cards, but I love the rewards points, and so I'm going to convince myself that I just need to be a better saver with that, you're probably wrong. Yes, it is possible, but we have to understand human nature. If you're not sure whether you actually spend more with credit cards or with cash, what you need to do is create a little test. For the next month, set aside what you normally use. If you normally use cash, use the card. If you normally use a credit card, try cash. And at the end of the month, compare it to other months of the past. Did you spend less or did you spend more? And then based on that, you can really make a good decision going forward. Hey, Saeed, you didn't talk about debit cards. I hate them. I really hate them. They're the worst. They're the worst of both worlds. I'm not bashing anyone who likes to use their debit card or who uses them, but I just think of the choices, they're by far the worst. It's not maybe. No, it's like cash, credit, you can argue, and then debit cards are way down here. Here is a non-exhaustive list of why I hate debit cards. It doesn't build your credit. There are no rewards or cash back. Overdraft fees, anyone? When I worked at the bank, you can't imagine how many people got overdraft fees from their debit cards. Even though they had money in their savings account, but because the debit card had to pull it from the savings account, they got charged with $35 a pop. I've seen people with literally thousands of dollars a year in debit card overdraft fees. Fixing fraudulent charges can take ages. When people realize that they sometimes have to wait 10 whole days just to get their own money back from a fraudulent charge, they get kind of upset. Oh, and sometimes you have to work with your bank because, now you have overdraft fees. And so you have to work with them to get it reversed after someone fraudulently used your account. That's kind of frustrating too. If the same thing happens with your credit card, guess what? You call the credit card company, say, hey, by the way, I didn't make that charge. It was fraudulent.
Okay, no problem. We will not make you have to pay that.
And no money has ever left your account this whole time. If you use the debit card, money literally leaves your account. And if it's true that using plastic doesn't feel like real money, well, guess what? The debit card is made of plastic. And on and on and on. I do want to make a note that in all these examples of using a credit card versus using cash assumes that your credit card is being paid off in full each month. So if you're carrying a balance or a large balance in your credit card and you're not paying it off every month, this video is not intended for you and you really need to work on focusing on paying that debt off. Probably shouldn't use the credit card. Hopefully this video was helpful to you. I'm Saeed with The Money Innovator. Now go and know thy self-spending habits and improve thine life, for thou art a beacon of... I'm giving away my hard, cold, earned cash. Maybe you work in a freezer. Whatever. You feel bad.